will be the first to talk about the last update for this no spend of 2022. Amazing how fast time has flown. We are each going to talk about how this experience has been, and it's my honor to start off with saying that I survived. I survived a year with no spending. Is it hard? Oh yes, it's hard. Especially when so many new things and new products are coming out. It's hard, but it's not something that you cannot do. My craft room looks exactly the same. I don't think I made a dent in it. I can easily go and make a commitment for another 5 years of no spending and I will be okay. But I don't want to do that because it is hard. Now, because I was on a no spend and I wanted something new, I just had to get something new to play with. It helped me discover the love for pressing flowers. And every time I press a flower and I get it out of the presser, I have something new to play with, and new possibilities, new ideas start surfacing and start swamping my brain. And it helps me create and bring more content to you. But that doesn't mean that everything that I already own is not going to be used, because everything that is used in scrapbooking, in card making, in junk journaling, in art journaling, pressed flowers could be used on all these and will make all your projects just stand out beautifully. So that is what I am going to be focusing a little bit more on, what I started to do more towards the end of this year. So that is my update and my conclusion. That was doing this no spend year good idea? Absolutely, it was. It has taught me discipline. It has taught me to be wiser with what I use, and committing to it verbally in front of you guys really did push me and gave me strength to pull through for the whole year. Overall, thank you so much for following us. And now it's Emily's turn to chat a little bit about how her no spend year went. Take it away, Emily. Your turn to share. Bye-bye.
Oh, Anna, you did wonderful. So proud of you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. For my 2022 no spend, I'm not going to lie to you. It was a bit difficult. In the beginning, I saw a lot of paper pads being debuted for the new year coming in, and also for spring and summer, and it was a bit difficult. So I had to reach out to my no spend friends and ask them, to kind of reel me back in, and they did. I got over wanting that paper pad, and to be honest with you, I don't remember what the paper pad was, and I couldn't even tell you what the company was. I don't know, forgot about it. So what you got to do is get over the hump, get over that pain of wanting something so badly, and next thing you know, you don't really even need it. So I still have plenty of paper to use, and I have a lot of items to be used that I have in my stash to be using. I was blessed by lots of friends, especially Chiquita's Crochet. She sent me a lot of items. I also went into my garage and went into my bin of items that I do not use. I put them in there. If I have not used them in for a while, I kind of move them out of my room, put them in a bin in the garage, and then later on, if I didn't go into the bin, they go into a yard sale bin that we that will sell in our yard sale. And it was one time I did go into the yard sale bin, and I took back a couple of stamps that I had put out there. Actually, after I took them out and I was using them in my junk journal, I said to myself, why did I want to get rid of them? Why wasn't I using them? Well, at that time, I wasn't really a stamper. I did buy a lot of items to do stamping, and then I just never did it. But now, since I'm in junk journaling and doing my journals and whatnot, I use a lot of stamps. So I took them back. They were a bird stamp and some other little postage stamp things. So I took those back. Another thing that I'm going to share with you, and it's not really one of my, I'm kind of proud of it, but then yet I'm a little embarrassed to tell you, but I'm going to tell you because, it is what it is. And this is how I got some of my items for free that I'm using. So a while back, my husband had taken us to the flea market. And in the flea market, there was a lot of book vendors. So I asked the book vendor if I asked a lot of book vendors, and they were all telling me no. They don't sell musical books, so with music notes. So I asked this one vendor. He was my last one. I was gonna ask. I wasn't gonna ask anymore because everybody was saying no. And he said no, and very rudely too. I might add, actually, kind of a way that was like you were asking a stupid question, but whatever. I walked away from the vendor area, and I was standing next to the trash because I was waiting for my husband and my son to come back to me because they were looking at another area. And I glanced over, and I saw this book on top, like somebody just threw out a whole bunch. They threw out a bunch of books because there was other books around there. So it wasn't like it was next to food or anything like that. I glanced over, and I saw this musical booklet. And I was like, what? It was in the trash, and I took it. And when I took it, I saw these in here. The Midnight Fire Alarm. I don't know what the song is about. It's piano solo, so I don't know. But it goes perfect with my junk journaling. I use musical note paper. I took that. Underneath this was a bunch of other books. And at that time, my husband was already coming back, and he was already giving me this look of like, why are you looking in the trash? So, I didn't really want to like dig a lot in there, but I did see these books. There was 3 of the same books. I don't know how to say that. Godey's Ladies Book, 1868. Very vintage. Can't get any vintager than that. And so these pages are going to go well in, a junk journal or to make tags or whatnot. And so I took that with me. So that, is another item that I got from the trash. And I also picked up a Staples paper cutter with 4 different blades, a wavy blade, a blade to make like you're cutting out tickets, a score blade, and just a regular blade. Somebody was throwing it out. They had it out on the curb when we were driving by this one neighborhood, and it had the instruction booklet with it. So yeah, Mama took it. So I took it with me. It's mine. So overall, my 2022 year was amazing. That no spending. I resell, so there was times that I did buy, but that was for reselling. And I got that on the side. And that was about it. That's all. I was blessed with different friends sending me items and whatnot, and didn't have a lot of time either to craft. So I didn't really have a lot of time to be looking and scouring for sales or what would pop up on my Instagram or in my emails and things like that. So it was a lot of time taken away from crafting and looking because I was busy with a family. So that was another plus that was helpful, that I didn't have to be yearning or hurting to miss out on anything like that. So coming for the 2023, I don't plan to really spend as much either, only if it's a really good buy, because I do not have enough room in my craft room to stash anything away. I have to focus on using my stash, and just using whatever I have and be happy with that and content, because I have so many items that could be used. And yeah, so I got to do that. I got to use up my stash. So I will let you go here. Let's check on Rebecca and see how she did for her 2022. I'm really anxious to hear, Rebecca. On to you.
Thank you, Emily. It sounds like you did really great this year. Okay, let's see how I did. First off, before I do anything, I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers who were so sweet and supportive. I got notes of encouragement. I got comments like, you can do this. I got comments that had links to free downloadable printable pattern papers, things like that. It was great. I really appreciate all of you, and thank you so much for your support this year. Also, let's talk about some of the ways that helped me get through the year, and that was that I had some great companies reach out and say, let us send you a few little samples, a few little dies or some stamps or, you know, washi tape, stuff like that, and you can unbox and review, do a review video of it. And so that was great. It was like I would still get things in the mail that I could open, and that was a lot of fun, because then even though I wasn't shopping, you know, it was fun. I also won a prize package from scrapbook.com, which was really cool to get all those things, you know, too. And so it was, and by doing a no spend year, when friends would send me happy mail with maybe some stickers in it or a little stamp set in it or something, it just meant so much more, because it was like, wow, you know, there's something new to play with for this year. And so I really appreciated all of that. Let's see, I did not go in Joann's this whole year. I did not go in Hobby Lobby. I did go into Michael's, but on the plant side to get some, a fake plastic plant thing. But I just stayed away from that. And that included emails like from Echo Park or any of those emails that are saying, we're having a big sale. I just didn't open them because I didn't want the temptation. So I just didn't open them. I said, fine. And it gave my brain permission not to open them and just to straight delete them because I didn't want the temptation. Now, having said that, I did find a little bit of a workaround that sometimes I thought, I don't know if I should be doing this, but I did it anyway. And that was, I had a wish list going. And so I kept this list. And so then my husband, like around Mother's Day, I would say, you know, honey, if anybody asks what I'd like for Mother's Day, there's this list, you know, and, you know, that worked. And because my husband's so sweet and so supportive of my crafting. And so, you know, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, I got presents, my birthday, Christmas, you know, he gave me some goodies. So that was really sweet. And, you know, then other people gave me some things. And so, you know, is that cheating? You know, I didn't buy them. I told them what I wanted and they would have gotten me, and it was better than getting a candle that, you know, or something that, you know, I love candles, don't get me wrong. But I mean, it was like, but I kind of knew it was coming too, you know, it'd be like, oh, I really like this. And then you go, oh, I'll probably get that for you, you know. And so I end up with things. So was that cheating? I don't know. But it was kind of a little bit of a workaround that I'll confess to that I did. But it was very refreshing to sit in my craft area and say, all right, what do I own already? And I had things I hadn't even opened. Now, as the you know, at the end of the year here, I have to admit there's still a couple things I haven't even opened yet. Some of the stuff was like out of the prize package from scrapbook.com. I haven't opened, you know, some of that stuff yet. But a lot of the supplies that I already had in my stash here, I did open and I used, and it made me be a little bit more creative and say, oh, you know. And the other thing was I organized better. As I went through, I would say, oh, I've never used this. So I put it in a pile of, be sure to play with this and try it out. So that was a lot of fun. So I did great. Now going into 2023, I'm not sure that I'm going to come off my spending freeze. I still have an awful lot of paper. I still have an awful lot of goodies to use. And, oh, one other thing I'll tell you, a quick little story, I'll try to get this in my time allotment here, is that I was stamping with my old oxide inks, and I was nearly in tears, excuse me, and my husband came through, and he saw me using my dried out oxide inks and trying to get the colors to work and not having the colors work, and I had a big collection of them. And he said, what's wrong? And I was like almost in tears. I'm like, I've got all these inks, and I had bought all those 6 years ago. And he was like, and they're not working? And I said, well, a lot of them are dried out and I can't get anything to cut, you know, I can't get them to work, but I'm on a no spend, so I can't go a bit more. And you know what he did? He picked up all my inks and threw them away, just threw them in the trash. And then next thing you know, he got me some more. Now, I don't have near the amount that I had before as far as the color selection. But I just thought that was so sweet that he just was like, took charge and said, you know, I'm going to get rid of these. He did get kind of, you know, one or two of each color of the rainbow for the Distress Oxide inks and replaced them. And pretty generous gift So that was one of the gifts. But I just thought I would tell that story because that kind of highlights, what a sweetie he is. Now, going into 2023, I now have some new oxide ink, so I'll probably go ahead and pick up a couple other colors that I would pick out, that I want to have. But I'm really probably not going to go too crazy. I kept thinking all during the year, it'd be like, oh, I'm going to buy a new foiling machine next year. I'm going to buy this. That. But when I really sit and look at all my things still, it's like, yeah, you're still doing okay. You can still create with what you have. So I'm not going to go crazy on the after Christmas sales. And I'm still going to be pretty relaxed about, saying, do I really need this? The only thing is I won't have to have such an extensive wish list come Valentine's Day. I'll let him go back to figuring out what I want. But anyway, that was my year in a nutshell. So thank you again, and let's see how Yvette did.
Thanks, Rebecca. And may I say how proud I am of all four of us for how well we did this year. For us crafters, it is a challenge to not go out and buy the latest and greatest goodies when we see them being used by other people on YouTube. So we did, I think, fairly well this year. Now, by the time you watch this video, I will officially be retired, and I am so happy for that phase of my life to begin. I worked for a school district for 28 years, and it was time for me to move on to the next chapter of my life. Now, as for my no spend challenge for 2022, I did it. I only bought cardstock for my card bases, which I needed, and those were allowed expenditures. And then any other crafty shopping I did were things that others paid for because they wanted me to make them something. For example, my daughter wanted some handmade goodies for her baby shower. And so it wasn't my crafty spending. Although I got to go do the shopping, I did it with someone else's money. So that was a fun way to spend on crafty goodies without breaking my challenge to myself. I did find that there are so many stamp sets I have that I just didn't use. So I did set aside the ones I used throughout the year, the dies, the stamp sets, any other products that I used, and those I put aside in separate baskets and bins. And then I'm going to go through those and make sure those are truly ones that I want to keep, that I think I'll find myself using over and over. And then I'll go through the ones that I didn't use throughout the year and sort through those. Perhaps there's one that I just forgot I had and I really love it and I don't want to get rid of it. And I'll sort those and set those aside. And then I'm going to de-stash all the other stamp sets and dies and goodies that I just am not going to use. I am a huge fan of patterned paper. I have so much patterned paper in my stash. And although I used a lot this year, I still have at least 50 pads of 12 by 12 paper and at least 50 of 6 by 6 paper. So I'm going to challenge myself to continue this no spend in a way. I learned through this challenge to sit back and think, do I really need that product? Is there something else I have in my stash that's similar that I can use? If the answer to the first question, do I really need that, is no, and the answer to my second question, do I have something similar, is yes, then I don't need to buy that item. However, if it's a paper pad or a stamp or something that I think would be a wonderful addition to my craft room, and I don't have something similar, I might buy it. I've learned that I can put things in the cart, wait, come back a few days later, and I may feel differently about that item. I may think, I don't need that after all. So that was a little trick I learned this year. And I think it suited me well. I also learned that I have an abundance of alcohol markers, colored pencils, watercolors. And so I'm going to kind of weed through those and only keep the ones that I really love. And then the rest I'll destash. Part of that destashing may be giving it to my grandkids. They love doing arts and crafts and they love using my stuff. So some of it may go to them. Some of it I may donate to local schools or hospitals, nursing centers. And some I'll be selling. I'm not quite sure how, but I'll come back with that information at a later date. Now, make sure you subscribe to the other creators in this challenge, and their channels are linked in the description box below. We thank you so much for following along on our progress throughout the year. It has been fun, it has been eye-opening, and it has been challenging at times. But it has been wonderful to have this challenge in a group of such creative and supportive women. So thank you all for following us through our journey and our challenge this year. Happy New Year, and I hope 2023 brings you many blessings and all your wishes come true.